What makes claims processing in insurance very difficult is it's really many different types of tasks that have to get done in order to go and support a very complex claims processing workflow. Here are the steps that are involved. First, you typically have a first notice of loss that happens on a phone call where the claimant calls in and reports the loss that occurred. Then the customer service rep is first making sure that it's a legitimate claim as much as possible, and then going to the claimant and telling the claimant what needs to be sent over in terms of documentation in order to proceed with the claim. Then what the claimant typically will do is prepare the files and then submit them via an email or web portal. So now the next step for the claims processing team is to go open up the files, open up the context in the email, and then check against the requirements that were reported on that first notice of loss. Now, this is obviously a different set of tasks that need to be performed. You need to understand the email context. You need to perform document classification on each of the documents that was sent over. And then you need to also extract information from each of those documents. And then you need to corroborate that with the requirements that were part of that first notice of loss, which happened on a phone call. So there is document processing involved as well as decision making. And you should, as an Agentic AI application, let the claimant know right then and there if all of the documentation is complete and is ready to go and proceed with the claim, or if something's missing. And then the Agentic AI need is to help the claims adjudicator perform diligence more quickly. And that typically involves doing search on those documents. Maybe the search also happens with databases, but you want to enable the claims adjudicator to do phenomenally fast search across both databases and in all the documentation that was sent over. Then the next step is to help the claims adjudicator make a decision. So that could be approve or deny. And you need to be able to explain what those reasons are for that claims decision. And then the final step that the Agentic AI needs to do is paper that in a claims report typically. So you can imagine document processing, decision making, helping with search, making that final claims decision, and then papering that. These are different tasks as part of a much more complex Agentic AI workflow. And that's really the challenge of a lot of the workflows that you see across insurance. They're not simple, they're not just one leg. You need to stitch multiple legs together. And there is plenty of work that human supervisors will need to do, as well as plenty of work that needs to be fed into third-party workbenches and APIs and such. And that's the real need. How do you get Agentic AI to go and do something that's much more complex and then continue to support the work as it's being done by people in the mix today?